Amidst the city's labyrinth of alleys, between graffitied walls and the bitter aroma of asphalt, lived Miguel, a boy with sky-colored eyes and a shy smile. His home was the icy street, his blanket the starry sky, and his only company, the echo of the wind. Whispering stories in the cracks of the buildings, Miguel carried with him a peculiar dream: to talk to God. On cold nights, when loneliness was pressing, he would lift his face to the sky, seeking in the eyes of the stars the answer to his questions and comfort for his pain. On a gray day, like so many others, Miguel met Lucas, another older street boy, hardened by the cruelties of life. Lucas, with his tired look and bitter voice, mocked Miguel's dream. "God is too busy with important things to care about a boy like you," he said. "Give up this fantasy and accept reality." Lucas's words hit Miguel like a punch in the stomach. He felt small and insignificant, as if his dream were just childish nonsense, but inside him, a flame still insisted on burning. That same night, while the stars sparkled like diamonds in the velvet sky, Miguel came across Anna, a young volunteer at a homeless shelter. Anna, with her gentle manner and welcoming smile, approached Miguel and, noticing the sadness in his eyes, asked about his dreams. In a hesitant voice, Miguel told him about his desire to speak to God. Anna listened to him attentively, her eyes filled with emotion. "God is never too busy to listen to the heart of a child," she said. "He loves you, Miguel, and is always by your side, even if you can't see him." Anna's words rekindled hope in Miguel's heart. He looked up at the sky again, certain that his voice would be heard, and so it was. On a silver moonlit night, Miguel sat on an old crate, raised his face to the stars and, with his heart overflowing with faith, began to speak. "God, I am here alone, with no one to hear me, but I know that you can hear me. I dream of talking to you, of telling you my fears, my sadness, my desires. I want to know if you see me, if you care about me." A deep silence took over the night. Miguel closed his eyes, waiting for an answer. Suddenly, a voice as soft as the wind whispered in his ears. "Miguel, my son, I have always seen you. I have always been by your side, even in the most difficult moments. I know every tear you have shed, every fear that haunts you, every dream that you keep in your heart." God's voice was like a balm for Miguel's soul. He felt a comforting warmth take over his being and tears welled up in his eyes. "God, Miguel," he whispered, "I feel so alone." "You will never be alone," Miguel replied. "God, I am always with you. Inside you. You carry my strength, my light, my hope." Miguel listened attentively to God's words, absorbing each teaching like a sponge. God taught him to overcome losses, to deal with failures, to face fears, and to discover the inner strength he possessed. One day, Miguel was walking through the deserted streets of the city. His stomach growled like hungry thunder. It had been days since he had eaten anything decent, only crumbs and scraps he found in the trash. Hunger tightened his chest like a handful of thorns stuck in his soul. It was Christmas Eve, and the cold night air was cut through by the distant sound of bells and Christmas carols. The colorful lights in the shop windows seemed to mock his hunger and loneliness. Miguel felt even more helpless, like a castaway in a sea of indifference. Suddenly, his eyes fell upon a familiar object, bread still warm and soft in a basket in front of a bakery. The floor was dirty. He hesitated for a moment, torn between hunger and disgust. But the hunger was relentless, and he bent down, picking up the bread with trembling hands. As he bit into the bread, Miguel felt a different flavor, a heavenly flavor that he had never experienced before. It was as if God himself had blessed that food, transforming it into a delicacy fit for the gods. Moved, Miguel looked up to the sky, tears welling up in his eyes. He thanked God for that unexpected gift, for having listened to his hunger and given him a sign of his presence in his life. At that moment, Miguel felt a deep peace take over his being. His physical hunger had been satisfied, but his soul's hunger had also been appeased. He knew that God was with him even in the most difficult moments and that he would never abandon him. One cold day, when everything seemed gray, with the sun setting on the horizon, suddenly an old lady was walking through the city streets. The old lady, who introduced herself as Madalena, invited Miguel to come to her house. Miguel, a little apprehensive, accepted the invitation. "He was very cold among my son," she said, in a sweet and welcoming voice. "Here you will find warmth, food, and a place to rest." Dona Madalena offered Miguel a steaming bowl of soup and a piece of soft bread. He devoured the food hungrily, savoring every bite as if it were a royal banquet. While he ate, Miguel told Grandma Madalena about his life on the streets, about the hunger, the cold, and the loneliness that accompanied him. Day after day, the old woman listened to him attentively, her eyes filled with compassion. When he finished speaking, Grandma Madalena said, "Miguel, you don't have to live on the streets anymore. You can stay here with me. I have an empty room, and you can help me with the housework." Miguel was speechless. Grandma Madalena's proposal was like a dream come true. He never imagined that someone could offer him a home, a place where he would be welcomed and loved. With tears in his eyes, he thanked Grandma Madalena for her kindness and accepted her proposal. That night, Miguel slept for the first time in a warm and comfortable bed, under the protection of a welcoming roof. He fell asleep with a smile on his face and a heart overflowing with gratitude. From that day on, Miguel's life changed completely. He lived happily with Grandma Madalena. By helping with the household chores and learning from their wisdom and experience, he had finally found a home, a family, and the hope for a better future. The story of Miguel and Grandma Madalena teaches us that kindness and love can transform lives. It reminds us that we should never judge people by their appearances, because often, behind a tired face and worn-out clothes, there is a pure soul and a heart full of hope. Miguel's story teaches us that faith, hope, and love are the most powerful tools we have to overcome life's obstacles. It reminds us that we are never alone, that God is always by our side, ready to listen to us, to comfort us, and to guide us. It is a story that invites us to look to the sky not only with our physical eyes, but with an open heart and to find the inner strength to move forward, even when the stars seem to be out. If you find yourself like Miguel, sad, dejected, discouraged, thinking that God doesn't love you, doesn't listen to you, and doesn't care about you, know that God is your best friend. He is a safe and present Father who loves you more than anything in this universe. Whenever you want to talk to Him, God will have His ears open to hear your cry. If you like this message, share it with your friends and help us grow our community of faith and hope so that this message, wherever it goes, can bear fruit and reach more and more people. Subscribe to our channel and leave your life story in the comments. Who knows, maybe one day your story will appear here. God bless you and see you in the next video.